Joe, would you hire Jessica Jones as a private investigator?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a really good detective, right?
Yeah, of course.
I think the show makes a lot of points that she's like a really good detective.
No, that's a really good question. And, like, I don't think her rates are that bad.
No, I feel like they're reasonable.
Yeah, and I feel like if you can't pay her, she's like, oh, whatever. Just buy me, whiskey or bourbon.
That's true.
Yeah, you could probably pay her in alcohol.
It works, too, because it's like she's really good at solving non-superhero problems, and then if it turned into a superhero problem...
She's your girl.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah.
Then welcome Marvelites to your therapy session. Join your hosts as we explore the realms of the Marvel Universe, taking you into new insights, movie reviews, and debates. Here, we won't try to cure any obsessions, but fuel them, because the world is better nerdy. Welcome to your Marvel Therapy Group.
Episode 8, I think, is the one where Jerry... Oh, spoilers. Okay.
Let's hold off on the spoilers until we get there.
Actually, let's tell them what we're talking about.
Yes, if you haven't figured it out by now, we are talking about my girl, Jessica Jones, today.
Yeah, Season 3 came out last weekend?
Last weekend.
Last weekend.
Final season of the Marvel Netflix
Oh.
experiment.
My heart breaks. That's the experiment. I think it was a very successful experiment.
Well, it had its ups and downs, and it's ended.
Okay, yeah.
It's ended on more of a down note, but...
Really think so?
I mean, most of these shows just kind of... I mean, Iron Fist and Luke Cage especially just kind of got unceremoniously canceled.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But they both had really good second seasons. Daredevil had a really good third season.
Daredevil Season 3 was really good.
And we're going to talk about Jessica Jones Season 3.
Yeah. But before we get to that, I thought we should do just a full look back.
A full recap.
Full recap of Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
All the highs and lows, the things we liked about it, the things we're going to miss about it.
Yeah, so I took notes on each episode for Season 3, but Jack has notes. Oh, I'm Joe.
And I'm Jack.
We're the only ones who have watched Jessica Jones, so we're the ones talking about it.
Yeah.
So I took notes on each episode for Season 3. Jack has notes on all the seasons, so why don't you start off the conversation?
when I suggested we talk about Jessica Jones and Joe agreed, I think within 10 minutes wrote like 3 pages of notes on Jessica Jones. So just for some background, I consider Season 1 of Jessica Jones, to be the best of the Marvel Netflix of all the seasons.
It is like the pinnacle of TV. Season 1 is so good.
Season 1 is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, Season 1 is such a great thriller and drama and suspense show, but like also action and mystery.
Noir.
Yeah.
It's got a cool tone, I think.
It does, and it really gets under your skin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, there's some scenes that you just cringe watching, but not in a bad way, not because it's cringy, but because it's so gruesome.
Yeah.
Like, the 2 scenes that come to mind for me are when Kilgrave is escaping from... I think it's all the same episode. When Kilgrave is escaping from his containment thing that Jessica set up.
Yeah.
And he makes his parents... Who is it? His mom?
It's his mom and his dad.
Yeah. So
he's like, pick up the scissors.
He makes them stab themselves with
it's
scissors.
Like, stab yourself for every year you left me.
Which is sickening.
Oh, it was so creepy.
And then the next one is when he's with Wendy, and he tells Wendy, you want a death by 1,000 paper cuts? Or 1,000 cuts? Do it. And Wendy's forced to take a knife and just start slashing away at Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the hardest scene for me to watch.
Oh my god, yeah, so, just for some more background, so coming off of Daredevil Season 1, which I also really loved,
Was this the second show?
Yeah, this was the second show, this came right after it. I want to say Daredevil came out in March of 2015, and then this was like September or November, or somewhere within that time frame. But yeah, I was really hyped for this show, mainly because I thought the premise sounded really cool, based on sort of what Marvel was based on the little, like, teasers Marvel released. I really loved Kristen Ritter as an actress. Like back from I knew her from Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Season 2, and if you haven't watched that, what are you doing? Go watch Breaking Bad. But Kristen Ritter, especially in Season 2, is really good. It's really good, really heartbreaking stuff. And also, I'm a big Doctor Who fan. So I only got more excited when David Tennant, my boy, was announced as the main villain.
Yep. Yeah. So what do you have for notes for season 1?
It's mostly just me gushing over it. I'll put that up front right now.
No problem.
So yeah. First note, episode 1 has like one of the best cliffhangers, I think, for a pilot I've ever seen.
True. Yeah, that and because it's on Netflix, they released the whole thing, so you just kept watching.
That was when I knew like I was gonna have to finish this show.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Because it's like everything seems good. Jessica's got the girl away from Kilgrave.
Mm-hmm.
We're all fine. She gets in the elevator with her parents.
Yeah.
And then she takes out the gun.
Yeah. Also, episode 1 really opens up a lot of plot points. You start to understand that Jessica is suffering, like she's killed someone. She's also been controlled by this person. So we find out who the Purple Man is, sort of.
It's a slow build up to him, but it's only more effective when you finally like meet him fully.
Yep. Yeah, do you remember when Jerry's introduced?
That's season 1. She's like she uses Jessica as like muscle kind of. Like Jessica goes out and gets and like serves people their court summons.
Yep. Yeah, the first scene of the show, I think, is she finds some guy, picks up his car, and she's like, here's your court order, or like, go there or I'm gonna use my laser eyes. And it's so great because right away you can tell, okay, it's a superhero show, but they're also leaning into that and playing off of it. But I mean, it's a superhero show without being superhero-y.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just realized that was one of the problems I had with the first episode of season 2. But we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, well, yeah, because Daredevil season 2 Daredevil season 1 was very much a superhero show.
You think so?
Season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
he's a guy in a suit. He's a guy in a mask going around fighting crime.
I have an opposite take because when I first watched Daredevil, like I tried to watch the first episode when it came out, and I didn't end up watching it until like a year, maybe, I don't know, maybe just a few months later, because it seemed like I wanted it to be about Daredevil, and I didn't realize it was going to be an origin season.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, it's just about Matt Murdock. I want more Daredevil. And I thought it was really boring. So like I had to push myself through it, but eventually it got to a point that I was interested, because it's a good show. So yeah, no, I had the opposite.
Really? Well,
I thought it was about Matt Murdock more than Daredevil.
He's not quite Daredevil yet, but he has like the superpowers. Like he goes in the suit and he goes in like the black suit and fights people.
Yeah, and it worked once I realized that.
Mm-hmm. Also, season 3 of Daredevil, side note, just made me realize the black suit was so much cooler than the red suit ever was.
It kind of is.
It kind of, especially when like he had like the fight ropes to it for like its gloves.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was so cool.
Yeah. So going off topic a little bit, Daredevil 1 was about Matt Murdock. I mean, season 1 was about Matt Murdock. Season 2 was about Daredevil, and season 3 combined them both perfectly.
It's a good take.
Yeah. It was very well-rounded at season 3.
But yeah, so back to my original point, I thought Daredevil season 1 was definitely like, this is a superhero show that shows superhero shows can go dark.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then Jessica Jones comes along and is like, you thought
that
dark.
was dark?
Yeah.
So season 1 was really good.
Yeah. What else do I have? So we talk about we sort of get glimpses of David Tennant throughout like the first couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember his first like really big moment being the scene in the police station where Jessica's trying to get herself arrested, and that's when he shows up and he hypnotizes all the cops. Like, doesn't he have them like pointing guns at each other?
Yeah.
And then he's like,
then he just tells them all it was a joke, forget about
like,
it.
In the next 30 seconds, you'll all think this was a hilarious joke by Jessica Jones, and you'll let her go.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think he had a few bigger moments before that, but that does stick out.
I think that was their first big like confrontation, like the first scene they had together.
Mm-hmm. Also, we get Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find out that Jessica Jones killed his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Girlfriend? Wife.
This is my favorite version of Luke Cage. Some people apparently don't like him in this season. I thought he was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought he was a cool guy.
It's cool. I think it's in the first episode, too. She has, like, this voiceover, and she's on the balcony looking at people, and you see Luke Cage, like, without being introduced, you know it's Luke Cage because he's in that costume.
Mm-hmm.
He has the yellow shirt, and he's just kind of standing there in his in his room. It's so funny because like, that's Luke Cage. Like you think it's just a cameo, but then surprise, he gets 2 of his own seasons.
He has a pretty cool scene too early on where it's like he takes the buzzsaw to his chest and he's just like, you can't break me.
Yeah, and then they have a fight
cool.
scene.
Yeah.
They fight in the club.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another thing I was gonna say. Some people say season 1 doesn't have enough action. I think season 1 has 2 of like my favorite fights in like. Well, no, it's not fair because Daredevil has like so many really good fight scenes. But outside of Daredevil, Jessica Jones is like my 2 favorite fight scenes, which is the one fight scene where it's I can't remember who the cop is, but it's the cop and he's hyped up on the on like the steroids, and so Jessica and Trish have to fight him.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good night. Like they're
In her
smashing
apartment.
around. Yeah, they're like going through walls and stuff. And then the scene with Luke and Jessica in the club, that was so cool.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Kilgrave's like, "Don't let her touch me, Mr. Cage," and then he's like trying to kill Jessica literally, and it's like she's like holding her own, but it's like,
it's crazy.
It's stressful.
It is stressful.
It's a tense scene.
That's the word to describe the show.
Oh yeah, do you
First
remember?
season, it's stressful.
Do you remember, like, I think it's like a flashback before this where Luke goes to confront Kilgrave and Kilgrave stops him and he's like, "Who are you?"
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's like, "I'm Jessica Jones. Like, Jessica Jones and I were lovers." And he's just like,
What
then was it? A pity shag?
Then he just kind of kidnaps Luke
He's like-
Cage because he can. Is it still kidnapping if it seems like they go willingly?
I think it's kidnapping. I think they make it pretty clear it's kidnapping.
Well, it definitely is, but like no one would be able to tell.
I think, but yeah, Jessica was just such a different character than we had seen on TV. She was so damaged, and she was so like she didn't give a F.
Yep. Then also season 1 utilizes her flying because she can fly in the comics, and they show it without showing it. Like she just jumps long distances.
I mean,
Which they kind of lost. It's come back a little bit in season 3.
my roommate Justin and I got into an argument about this. He's like, "Can she even fly?" And I'm like, in show, she doesn't like to fly because she never learned how to control it, so she doesn't really do it much.
Basically, yeah.
The reason for that, objectively, I know it's because Netflix never gave them the money to have Jessica Jones fly. But I was like, no, in show, there's a reason. She doesn't like to fly. She can't really do it. So you can just back off. I'm very defensive of Jessica Jones.
No, that makes sense. Like, she could if she developed it. Yeah, but she never really learned how to fly. I'll go with that. Can we also talk about Jerry real quick?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about the side characters on in season
Jerry
1.
is a really good character, and for some reason I root for her, and I think you're supposed to, but she's not a good person.
No.
She's really not. And she uses Kilgrave to try to get her own way in the divorce, which ends terribly for everyone involved. But then, like, after the first season, I forgot about that. So when she came back in her next appearance, I was like, oh, Jerry's back. I love this character. Then, rewatching season 1 of Jessica Jones, I got to that point again, and I was like, wait, she's a horrible person. Why am I rooting for her?
Carrie Ann Moss carries herself in such a way in that performance that it's like everything she does, you can be like, I don't agree with it, but I understand why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with Jerry.
And I don't think she means to destroy everyone's lives. She's just out for herself.
I was gonna say, I mean, she very clearly is out for herself.
Yeah. And she just has no remorse, really.
I think she's just ruthless.
Yeah.
I think she's a queen, though.
So, then, the end of the season, Jessica Jones...
Wait. Just side characters, can we also talk about Malcolm in season 1?
Yeah.
I actually really like that twist with Malcolm in season 1.
That was a good twist.
Where he's a drug addict for the first 6 or 7 episodes, I think.
And then you find out he's being controlled, or has been controlled by Kilgrave the entire time.
Yeah, well, I think Kilgrave literally, told him to do drugs, become an addict, and then spy on Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Which, that's just so messed up.
Yeah, it is. Then he gets clean, and you're like, oh, this is great. Now, the character has more of a purpose.
Mm-hmm. He started leading, that support group, right? That was sort of his thing.
Yep. Then we get those weird siblings. really.
Yeah, that's
We're
still
gonna
a
gloss
10
over
out of
that.
10 for me in the season, but those characters, they really tried to like bring that rating down.
I mean, no, good for the actors, but we're gonna gloss over the characters themselves.
Yeah, let's just gloss over them.
And Trish, of course. Trish is there.
I thought Trish was good, and I can't really remember what she does in season 1.
Trish just lives in her rich apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, what does she do? Well, you get some backstory, I guess.
She does some. I think she helps Jessica. But...
She must. I don't know. I watched it so long ago. So yeah, end of season 1, she kills Kilgrave. Oops. Spoilers?
Well...
Nah, it's been out for 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But before that, we get like 2 of like the best episodes of the season. Those it's like back to back. It's the Sin Bin one we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, there's the one where Jessica goes to live with Kilgrave in her childhood home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those 2 are so good. Like those are peak television for me.
So Jessica's messed up. Trish is feeling helpless. Jerry is Jerry, and Malcolm is on the recovery. Yeah. So that's how that's how we leave our characters.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2. Are we going to season 2?
Yeah. Do you want to?
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. So season 1 was really awesome, and I had high hopes for season 2, and I didn't like season 2. And the main reason was because it didn't have a central villain, and I didn't like how none of the characters' arcs overlapped. I was like, I'm watching Jessica Jones, not like Jerry's sideshow, or Trish's sideshow, or Malcolm's for that matter. Because none of their character arcs, none of their stories overlapped. And then... Actually, that's about it. Yeah. It was a very flat story.
I think you ranked this as like your least favorite season of Marvel television, didn't you?
I think so.
I've seen it as the worst of the worst, which I think is ridiculous because Iron Fist season 1 was a thing.
I liked Iron Fist.
Well, okay, like just objectively, you could at least tell that Jessica Jones season 2, like people at least like behind the camera like cared and were actually like trying to make something good. Whereas Iron Fist season 2, you could tell no one gave a shit.
Iron Fist season 2?
Just season 1, no one gave a shit.
I liked season 1. I was actually attached to the characters pretty quickly. Season 2 of Jessica Jones, I was like, I don't care about any of these people.
We're not going to get into going into Iron Fist is a rabbit hole they don't want to go down today. Season 2 works for me a lot better than pretty much everybody, I believe. The stuff with her mom really works for me. I actually think the second half of the season was really strong. I was actually really engaged in the second half of the season. Mm-hmm. I thought the season 2 had 2 really, really good episodes, which were like on par with season 1, which was the flashback episode, where Jessica actually was happy and she had a boyfriend.
Okay, so that was a powerful episode, but I didn't like it just because I don't like flashback episodes. I hate how you have to interrupt your own story, go back and fill in some gaps or create new details so that you can continue telling your story.
Well, so it's like they introduced the mother, then it's like, well, where have you been all this time? Let me show you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Why not? Would you rather ever just
I want a continuous story, so fill in the gaps as you go. That would be a good story for me.
I don't know. I was a fan of that episode. I was a fan of seeing young Jessica when she was happy.
When she was happy.
No, that was so sad.
Poor her.
That was so sad.
Such a troubled life.
But yeah, there was that episode, and then there was the Kilgrave episode, which, okay, I just love David Tennant, and I always just will rank anything higher if he's in it, but that was such a good episode where Kilgrave shows up again. And there's a scene where there's like multiple Kilgraves, and like they're everybody on the street. Ugh. I'm all about that show. I'm all about more Kilgrave.
I don't remember that, actually. I really only remember like 2 scenes from season 2, and it's when her mother breaks the aquarium, and all the it floods, all the animals come out. I'm like,
So
good going.
Of course you'd remember that one.
Yeah. Like, you just killed, you just destroyed this aquarium.
Oh, that scene probably lost it a star just for like the whole rest of the season, didn't it?
And then the next scene I remember is Jessica and her mother on the Ferris wheel, and then Trish shoots her, and Jessica jumps down and tells Trish to run. That's about it.
And that's fair, though. Trish did just kill her mother.
Yeah. Also, Trish must have really good aim.
Well, you could argue she'd been taking those drugs and she had her cat reflexes. She just didn't realize it yet.
Yeah, I guess. But they were so close together. Like, that was a really risky shot. You could have hit Jessica.
Well, I'm going to go with the cat reflexes excuse.
Oh, I do remember that part. Yeah, okay, so 3 scenes. When Trish is being injected very painfully by whatever that is in International Goods and Handling, IGH, which was basically like a mutant growth hormone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have for season 2?
We talked a little bit about it. I can agree that the first couple episodes needed what I would have done, I've stood by this since since season 2 came out. My idea was, I would have always said what they should have done was they should have had a villain for Jessica to fight for like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Then she captures her, puts her in prison, and then we move on to the story with the mother.
Oh, that's part of it. Remember there was a rumor that Typhoid Mary was coming in?
Yeah.
And this random woman who ends up being her mother, I kept thinking, oh, this is Typhoid Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when's she gonna do something really awesome?
Yeah, when's she gonna like throw fire at her?
Right.
I wanted the fight of Jessica like fighting a woman who can control fire.
Yeah.
I wanted that. Netflix, give me that.
So that was part of it.
Retroactively give me that.
Yeah, so that was part of it. When we found out it was her mother, but we didn't know a name, I was still like, so it's still Typhoid Mary that's making it her mother. This is weird, but okay. But then it was never Typhoid Mary, and I couldn't get over that.
That's the thing. I think it should have been Typhoid Mary should have been a villain that Jessica's chasing for like 3 or 4 episodes. She puts her in jail. They set her up for Iron Fist season 2.
She gets out for Iron Fist season 2.
Like I'll give Iron Fist season 2. Actually, like kind of liked Iron Fist season 2. It was fine, but I'll give that. They did Typhoid Mary good there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a villain for Jessica to fight for the first couple episodes. She puts her away, and then we move on to the stuff with the mother. If they had done that, I would have said that season would have been really good.
Instead, we get that cop's name who was on the drugs. I don't remember his name.
He was in season, yeah. Well,
Instead, we get him for a few episodes until he gets killed. Mm-hmm. And then it's like... And then it just seemed like they had a leftover plot point from season 1 that never got resolved, and they're like, we're gonna throw it into season 2 and wrap that up really quick.
Yeah, maybe he could have been like a villain Jessica fights, I guess, but...
Yeah. I feel like he was set up to be one.
Yeah, because I feel like I said, that season 1 fight I think was really cool.
Yeah, but then he just gets killed. Also, I know a lot of people liked season 2, but for me it didn't work because
really? I feel like a lot of people don't. I feel like I'm in the minority.
Well, so like Trish's story, I just feel like all their stories come out of nowhere. And I get that you can kind of see that Trish is getting an addiction to power in the first season, but I don't think it was built up enough, because then she's suddenly just taking drugs out of nowhere and she just keeps getting more addicted to power. And I didn't like it. I don't think it added up.
Well, I think they set that up in season 1, because I think that's how she ends up defeating it's bugging me, I don't know the cop's name, but that's how they defeat them in that's how Jessica and Trish are able to finally defeat him. So I think Trish takes like a hit of the cops thing he's been taking, and she gets powers.
Yeah.
So you can see how they sort of set that up, that she'd get addicted to that, and also like they've established that she's always wanted what Jessica has. Like she's jealous that Jessica could be a hero but just isn't, because that's what she wants to be.
I see that they tried. I just don't think it landed for me anyway.
No, it didn't. I can agree. It didn't land for a lot of people apparently. Find his name. Will Simpson. That was his name.
Oh, Simpson. Yeah.
He was actually a good character. Like that. Oh yeah, that was that scene in like season 1 where I forgot about the Kilgrave scene where you don't see his face, but he walks into that family's apartment.
Yeah.
And he
tells the kids to go in the closet.
Go in the closet.
Children should be seen and not heard, or not heard and not seen, something like that.
Yeah, I think he says both. Like seen and not heard, or better yet, not seen and not heard. Get in the closet.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I think the girl's like, I have to go to the bathroom. He's like, go in the closet.
Sickening.
I think she's crying in there and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, so creepy.
So do you have anything else for season 2? Because I'm done talking about it.
Oh yeah, I really like Jerry in season 2.
Okay, I can get behind that.
I like her whole storyline of how she has ALS. She finds out she has ALS, and this powerful woman being taken down, and so she starts trying to find a cure, and she ends up getting screwed over by that guy who says he can heal her.
Again, interesting. I think at second to Jessica, she has the best story arc in season 2. But it had nothing to do with Jessica Jones. Like, the only overlap was when Jessica had that woman that needed hiding, so she gave her to Jerry. And then Jerry, that woman steals from Jerry, and Jerry just sets up a murder to get, like, she sets up for that woman to kill her boyfriend.
I thought that was such a powerful scene, though, where the guy's saying he's healing her, and she's actually, like, crying because she can, like, feel like she's being healed.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wakes up and her place is... I think it's like she wakes up and her house has been robbed or something, and then she realizes she's been lied to this whole time.
Oh.
It's like she's put all their eggs in this... I liked that story.
I kind of remember that.
I like that story.
But it just had nothing to do with the rest of the season.
And again, I thought Carrie Ann Moss did a really good job.
Yeah. That's that the actress?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like one of Marvel Netflix's like first really big gets, because she had done... She was pretty well known at that time, mostly for The Matrix, I think.
Oh, yeah. I recognize it now. Wow, okay.
You're gonna look at her in a whole new light now.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to our Jessica Jones episode. We're going to be right back to talk about Season 3 after a quick word from our friends at the Chuck and Brad podcast.
Hey, Rhode Island and Connecticut, I'm Chuck Staten from the Chuck and Brad podcast, and before you go see the new movie Spider-Man Far From Home, come see a very special pop culture-based comedy show called Spider-Man Bradley Drawn, featuring Chuck and Brad. The quick description is, comedians Brad Rohr and Chuck Staten present a poorly drawn and badly written retelling of the original Spider-Man movie starring Tobey Maguire. Brad is a terrible artist, and we're going to use his drawings and my new narration of the film based on those drawings to tell the story live on stage. It's going to be an awesome time. We're doing it Thursday, June 27th at the CT Comedy Theater in Hartford, Connecticut with Katie Arroyo, Laura Manasewicz, and BJ Quagan, and we're doing it Sunday, June 30th at the Comedy Connection with Impractical Jokers tour opener Jiggy, Ray Harrington, and Alan Fitzgerald. That's Spider-Man Bradley Drawn. Come on out, it's going to be a great time. All info at chuckandbradpodcast.com.
Season 3?
Season 3.
Okay.
Alright, so where are you in Season 3?
So I just finished episode 9.
Okay,
so we are going to spoil up until episode 8.
Yeah, I just finished the episode where Jessica and Trish go on the road trip, and they find the body.
Okay.
And
okay.
Jessica has
so
we're
gonna stop there because something huge happens, and I really want to talk about it, but I cannot talk about it to you.
I appreciate that.
Maybe just go step out of the room and I'll talk.
You'll just run the podcast by yourself.
All right, so we're gonna go through it up until episode, I think it's 8, 7 maybe.
Yeah, I finished 7. I have to watch 8 next.
Okay, so up to episode 7.
Yes.
All right. Eventually we will have finished season 3. Then we'll talk about it after that. But we're gonna go episode by episode. So, first, do you want to just do general reactions?
It's fine. It's picking up for me a little bit now. To be honest, I'm kind of half watching it at some point. Like, I think there was one scene where it's like Jessica is trying to find like the guy who has the powers to like feel other people's emotions. Mm-hmm. And at one point he's like, "How'd you find me?" And I'm like, yeah, how did she find her? How did she find him? Like, I'm sure they said it and I just didn't pay attention, but...
Okay.
I
think I can answer that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I don't know. Nothing's gonna overtop season 1.
Yeah.
And it's almost doing the same thing season 2 did for me, in the fact that it's sort of picking up for me a little more now. Mm-hmm. I like that they have a villain.
Yes.
I feel like that's a good move.
Yeah. We'll talk about that when we get to that episode.
Yeah, it's fine.
So... I am enjoying season 3, but mostly I'm pushing through so I can finally watch Black Mirror. Like, when I go to watch TV, I watch Jessica Jones so I can watch it, because it's Marvel and I need to watch it,
yeah.
And I want to talk about it on the podcast,
mm-hmm.
But really I just want to get out of the way so I can go watch other TV shows. That being said, I have to agree, it's just fine. I like it better than season 2. And I'm also kind of half watching it. It's, I don't know how to explain it. It's falling flat again. And I think it's the villain. Because, I mean, it's good they have a villain, mm-hmm. But it doesn't compare to season 1. Because this guy has no powers. He's just a regular person. And this is kind of sickening in the opposite way, where it's like, this man clearly has a mental disability. Like, he is not right. And he needs help. He needs to be arrested and locked up, but also he needs serious therapy and medication. Because he's not right.
He's also a psychopath who's murdered 7 people. So
No,
I mean,
no, definitely.
On the other hand, like, Jessica, go ahead and punch him in the face.
Oh no,
like,
definitely.
He deserves that.
Definitely. But he needs help. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. Alright, so let's go to episode 1. Actually, so I was watching the recap, and I noticed that they kept saying in the recap, Jessica didn't ask for her powers. And that was, like, really resounding. They just kept hammering that in. And I was like, I get it, okay.
Yeah.
Jessica never asked for her powers.
Yeah.
The second note I have is poor Jerry, because she has ALS. And we're reminded of that. And then she falls out of bed. And it's sad. And she thinks about committing suicide. And then she gets Jessica to tell her to murder her at some point.
Oh, that was a cool scene.
It was. But also it was like, oh my gosh, like gut-wrenching. Oh, so there's a point where Jessica is walking on a beach, and she's still wearing her leather jacket. Which, oh yeah, she's in,
Mexico. I think,
yeah. And she's still wearing her leather jacket.
Of course she
And I thought that was really funny.
Oh, never changed, Jessica.
They name-dropped Captain America again.
I'm glad they did that as opposed to just, like, the flag waver, which all these shows did for a really long time.
I don't remember where they name-dropped him, but I have it in my notes that they name-dropped him.
They did name drop him.
Also, that little girl's name that she rescued, her name was Cassie. While they were talking about Captain America, the girl's name was Cassie, which is Scott Lang's daughter.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Then, we found out she has a secretary,
Oh, yeah.
so she's an official business now.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Which also implies that she has a steady stream of cases that she's solved, because then she gets paid, because she has to pay this secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a great character. She's... I like it. I like their dynamic. It's really funny. She's living up to her mom's ambitions, because she's really hammering in again, like, I can be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this. I don't have to be, like, all dark and gritty. I can be a hero. Oh, and then I see Alias Investigations on the door, and my first thought is, okay, when is this window going to break? When is someone going to go crashing through that window?
Always happens.
It always happens.
Just stick with the cardboard, Jessica.
Yeah.
That works for you.
Oh, then we get to Jerry trying to die. That was emotional. We find out Malcolm's working for Jerry. Oh, and Malcolm is doing Jerry things.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
His morals have gone out the window.
Well, he doesn't feel good about it.
No, he doesn't. I also noticed, and tell me if this is the thing that's been going on in all the other seasons, but there's a voiceover. Like, they're talking out loud.
Yeah, Justin and I were talking about that, too. Season 1, I think they did it. Season 1, I think they did it. Season 2, I think they backed off a little bit, and I think
Okay.
they're just going back to what they did in Season 1.
I like it.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
It feels like a comic book.
It's fine, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
really
like
cool.
I like listening to Kristen Ritter.
Good intro to Hellcat.
Oh, yeah.
We see her do, like, flips and parkour.
Yeah. That's episode 2, right?
I have it in episode 1. Again, I don't remember what her introduction was, but I have it in my notes.
Oh, yeah. I think her introduction is you see her breaking into the guy's apartment.
What
And
guy's apartment?
The guy she's been hunting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because she's missing. Dorothy, her mom hires her.
Oh,
hires
yeah.
Jessica.
Can we talk about her mom? I don't
Yeah.
like that they're trying to make her mom like a good character.
Okay.
Or like a redeemable character. Because season 1, they really hammered home, like, you are a bad person. In season 3, they're kind of like, never mind. She's fine.
Okay.
And
I think she's definitely redeemed herself. But I'm also an episode ahead of you.
they did that, and the only reason I noticed that is because they did that with Turk, too. Like, you know, the thug who appeared in, like, a couple seasons. He was, so season 1 of episode 1 of Daredevil, they literally introduce him as, like, as sex trafficking young girls. And he's like, you need to use the bathroom, use the bucket. If you don't, you get tased. When he has, like, a cattle prod. And by Luke Cage season, or maybe it was Iron Fist season 2, but by one of them, he was just like, hey, it's me, Turk, your favorite scamp.
Oh.
And I'm like, you're a very bad person.
Yeah,
You should
okay.
not be on the streets.
Yeah. She's definitely... Dorothy is still... She did horrible things, but she has made up with her daughter. And now Trish is, like, getting away from it. She has her powers, and she's learning to live... Or she's learned to live without her mom. But now she's, like, welcoming her mom back into her life. I think she's very redeemable.
Yeah, I just don't like how it's like apparently they're backing off of that now. In season 1, they made a pretty big deal. Like, she was a very abusive mother to Trish.
She was. But I think the fact that Trish has clearly set boundaries and is letting her back into her life on her own account, on Trish's own account, I think it says a lot. I have... Okay, so Jerry is at a concert, and I have a connection because Sigourney Weaver's character, the Finger in The Defenders, also had a concert come to her apartment.
Such a waste of Sigourney Weaver.
And I noticed
How
that
dare
morality is clearly the theme of this season. And I think it's a really good theme. Because in this one episode, everyone was talking about their morals. And, like, it was good.
It's definitely Jessica wanting to be a hero, but just she's not sure if she can be a hero.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
As well as everyone else. Malcolm, not so much Jerry, but Trish. They mentioned a sliding scale a lot. Just thought I'd bring that up. Never brought up again. I don't remember why I wrote that down. Episode 2. Episode 2 was funny because it was this the Hellcat, the Trish episode? I liked that perspective. Especially when she has a costume in the mirror, and her name is Hellcat in the comics, but she looks at her costume and she goes, "Hell no." And it's so clearly fan service, and it was great.
Marvel loves to do that thing. They did that with Luke Cage too.
Yes. Episode 3, all I have is great twist ending. Now, I don't remember what that twist ending was at this point.
I guess it wasn't that great.
But I remember... Oh, wait. No, that wasn't the one she got stabbed. That was the first episode. So I don't remember what it was. But also, my notes for each episode kind of dwindled, and that's where you can see my interest was... I was losing interest. Because as we've talked about, it kind of fell flat in comparison to Season 1. We know it's the last season of the Netflix ones. I don't know. It's a bummer.
It's a bummer.
Episode 4, we get a Wizard reference. Because Eric, right? Eric is his name?
Yeah.
Burger guy. He's like, I have powers. You believe me? And Jessica's like, the last time I didn't believe someone, they ended up dying when scaffolding fell on top of them. I was like, the Wizard.
That was a bad opener to start with Wizard when they really didn't have the budget to do. They really didn't have the special effects budget to do it good.
It was a bad opener.
Felt
and I forgot to talk about
place.
that because Season 2, the first episode, they really tried to lean into it being a superhero show. And I was like, no.
Didn't work.
It didn't work.
Didn't work.
Oh, I was worried for Trish because I was like, she's going to lose her job. I actually care about Trish. I don't want her to, lose her job.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh, but then by this point, Trish is becoming so annoying. She was literally becoming the new Iron Fist because Iron Fist is always, I am the immortal Iron Fist. And Trish was always, I asked for this. I wanted these powers. I asked for this. It's like, we get it. It was so annoying. Do you remember that? Did that stand out to you?
To be honest, I mean, nothing's really stood out for me outside of just... outside of every time I watch it, I'm like, Kristen Ritter's really pretty. And she's really talented. And I love her.
Here's another question. Do you think that Jerry actually wants Kith back? Do you think she actually has feelings for Kith?
I think she did.
Because I feel like it just came out of nowhere.
I think because she's very clearly realizing her own mortality at this point. And I think she's trying to make up for some mistakes or or the sort of things she's wished she could have done differently, which I can understand.
That's a good take. I was thinking it was just Jerry being Jerry, and she was like, pretty soon I'm going to be decrepit, and I need someone to take care of me, so I'm going to play in my ex-girlfriend's emotions that she loves me and can take care of me while I die.
Yeah, and I didn't read it like that.
Okay. Oh, then we get a name for the guy, Gregory Salinger, who is a villain, and not the best villain for reasons we've talked about, because he's just a regular guy, kind of boring.
He actually was in a Netflix show earlier. It was that show Russian Doll that Amy Poehler co-created. Mm-hmm. He just played like an asshole in that show.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you're wondering where you recognize him from, Russian Doll.
So getting into episode 5, I just don't understand why Salinger is trying to kill Jessica.
I think he justifies it.
He says, oh, she's cheated. I've had to work for everything I've ever had. Mm-hmm. She just got powers and can do whatever she wants. But by that logic, why didn't you try to kill her in Season 1 or Season 2?
I think he probably just wasn't in New York then.
Okay, we'll go with that.
You can't just... Yeah.
But I said at least the characters are overlapping this season. That was good. Like, Malcolm's the buffer, kind of. Actually, they overlap a lot more by episode 8. Trish and Jessica Jones, their dynamic is done well. Because the whole thing where, Jessica was siding with a mass murderer, and then Trish killed her mom.
I do feel like Trish is kind of like, I killed your mom, get over it. And I'm like, No, I get why Jessica's pissed at you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there are some moments where Trish is like defending herself. Yeah, she literally says, "Get over it." It's like you can't just get over it.
Who killed her mother, Trish?
Seriously. Oh, then we get.
Which episode was it where Jessica pushed Trish out the window? That was funny.
I don't know. I think maybe this one, or it already happened. I don't remember. But that was a good scene.
That was a good scene.
In episode 5, we get Eric's sister, who is a prostitute, and they're trying to get her off the streets. But then they just gave her off to Malcolm, and I'm like, do not do this again. Like, you just handed off a side character to Jerry in season 2. Now you're just handing off a side character to Malcolm.
Well, Jessica doesn't have time to watch him.
I know. Also, did you notice no one wears gloves?
Yeah, because that's not fun. Jessica's cool. She doesn't need gloves.
Like, Trish
wears gloves.
No, she doesn't.
I think she does.
She wears a glove that covers her thumb and her first 2 fingers, but then her last 2 fingers are open. It's very weird. Whereas, like, Gregory Salinger, he wears gloves. He has, like, a whole bodysuit. I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause he's a smart serial killer.
Exactly. Then Trish blew her cover in episode 5, and I drew a little mad face. See that? Do a little mad face.
Yeah, he does have a mad face on his notes.
Episode 6, the bagel wrist incident. It's all catching up to Jerry because everything is crashing down on her. Where's Foggy?
He doesn't work for her anymore.
No?
No, remember at the end of Daredevil season 3, they're going to open Nelson and Murdoch again?
That's right! Okay, yeah. I was wondering the entire time, like, where is he? But also, she has her own firm. Maybe he's stuck around at the other place.
No, come on. I want to imagine everything ended happy for Matt, and they're running Nelson and Murdoch again.
That's right, yeah. I forgot about that. Episode 7. This is where we're going to stop. Oh yeah, again, why is he going after Jessica Jones? Why not Luke Cage? I mean, different parts of New York, maybe?
Yeah, different parts
Why not
of New York.
Daredevil? Why not Captain America?
He'd probably go after all those guys, but he's just targeted Jessica Jones.
Yeah. The hand sanitizer was cute.
Oh, yeah.
Her secretary,
yeah.
because her immune system is compromised because she has no spleen. And her secretary, as much as they dislike each other, they still get along well. And she was like, gas pumps are full of E. coli. Jessica Jones says, I'm super powered. And then comes back and says, I guess it can't hurt.
Yeah, I'll take it. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. Yeah, that was the scene I thought was like the coolest so far was when Jessica actually like lifts up the gazebo and then she starts punching. Oh no, that scene was cool, but then the scene where she actually like goes and just wrestles with Salinger and just really embarrasses him. I liked that.
Okay. See, that's one of the parts that I stopped watching because I was like, all right, let's get into the end of the episode. I'm tuning out.
That was cool.
The cop in that small town was very bigoted, and it was annoying, and I literally just wrote, ugh, bigotry. Because she couldn't even address that Jessica was a woman. She was like, yeah, like, for a woman like you, or whatever you are, something like that. And Jessica goes, whatever I am? Because she's still human. Ugh, it was so, I hated it. Not like, it was good writing. I just hated that character.
Stuff happens in X-Men all the time, and you love that.
I do love it. I loved this, too. It's just, seeing I was like, oh, this person, get over it. Stop being so hateful. Trish's distraction was so funny.
Oh, yeah.
She sets the car alarm off. She goes, this is very triggering for me. I'm psychologically shutting down. It was so funny.
That was good.
I loved it. Then Salinger. All I wrote was Salinger.
Oh, yeah, because it ends with like the guy Eric, I think, who can feel emotions. He's like everything you think everything's worked out. Then he's like, Salinger's coming for us.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it ends.
And then all I wrote was Salinger is so annoying with like 12 O's under the so.
You're not supposed to like him, Joe.
I know. But then I also wrote that I love that they're working together. Finally, Jess and Trish.
Yeah.
All right, that is up to episode 8 through episode 7. I keep saying season. Any final thoughts?
I guess just overall, what are you gonna miss about Jessica Jones?
I'm gonna miss the show. I like we've never really gotten anything like that. Or at least I've never watched a show like that.
Mm-hmm.
The very noir theme, you know?
I'm just gonna miss Jessica. I love her so much. I love her attitude. I love her sass. I love how she like doesn't give an F.
Do you have Marvel Unlimited?
Yeah.
You can always read her comics.
No, but it's not the same because it's not Kristen Ritter.
All right.
Like I've made it very clear that I'm in love with Kristen Ritter.
Yeah.
I think her and Charlie Cox, I wrote this down, they were the two best actors in Marvel Netflix universe. If you don't believe me, go watch Defenders and just watch them literally act circles around everybody else.
When Jessica Jones threw a van at Elektra.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I also think it's just kind of a shame that this Marvel Netflix experiment is kind of ending the way it is, just sort of fizzling out. It definitely feels like after Defenders kind of didn't go as well as they wanted, well, that and Iron Fist, Netflix kind of gave up on these shows. I feel like they either needed less episodes or more money, something which neither Marvel nor Netflix seemed willing to do.
Less episodes. So I got so bored at one point that I was reading through I paused it, went to the menu, and I was reading through the description, the summaries of each episode. Mm-hmm. And I think it's episode 12. It says, Return of an Old Friend. Who do you think that is?
Kilgrave.
Oh, you think so? I was thinking Luke
Maybe.
Cage.
I'd be okay with that too, but again, David Tennant.
I think it's Luke Cage. But we'll see. Anything else?
Just thanks for tuning in to Marvel Therapy Group again.
Alright, so again, we haven't finished season 3, but when we do, we'll talk about it in future episodes.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Got some stuff coming up to talk about. Legion's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, it only came out last weekend, so I'm sure a lot of our listeners haven't finished because we all have lives.
Yeah. Well.
So, in the meantime, follow us on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So definitely interact with us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Marvel Therapy Group, where together we can work through our comic thoughts and learn to live beside them. Views expressed are of the host only and do not reflect Marvel Studios or comics in any way. Hosts are in no way qualified to provide therapy. This is simply the name of the podcast. This has been another Marvel Therapy Group session.